Working hard is not the reason you are still broke. And that truth hurts because you were taught the opposite your whole life. Most people believe that if they just work harder, longer hours, more effort, more sacrifice, money will eventually come. But for millions of people, it never does. Because the problem is not always a lack of work. The problem is the mindset behind the work. And if you never see that difference, you can spend your entire life exhausted, busy, responsible, disciplined, and still never become financially free. That is the trap. This is not just about money. This is about the way you think, the way you move, the way you make decisions, and the silent pattern that keeps so many hardworking people stuck. So ask yourself honestly while you watch this. Are you building wealth, or are you just becoming better at surviving? Hard work creates effort. Smart work creates leverage. This is the first shift most people never make. Hard work usually means giving more time, more energy, more sweat, more sacrifice. And there is nothing wrong with effort. Effort matters. But effort has a ceiling. You only have so many hours in a day, so many years in your life, so much energy in your body. That means if your income only grows when your effort grows, your financial future will always be limited by your human capacity. That is why so many hardworking people stay financially trapped. They are not failing because they lack discipline. They are failing because they are using a model that does not scale. Smart work is different. Smart work asks, how do I make this effort produce more than once? How do I create value that keeps paying me? How do I stop trading all my time for survival? That is leverage. And leverage is where wealth begins. 2. Most people confuse being busy with making progress. This is one of the biggest traps in modern life. When you are busy, you feel productive. You feel important. You feel like you are doing something valuable. But being busy and building wealth are not the same thing. You can answer emails all day, solve small problems, run from task to task, stay mentally overwhelmed from morning to night, and still end the month in the exact same financial position. That is because activity is not always advancement. A lot of people are addicted to motion because motion makes them feel safe. If they stop moving, they might be forced to confront the truth that all their effort is maintaining a system, not transforming their future. That realization is painful, but it is powerful because once you see it, you stop worshiping busyness and start measuring what actually moves your life forward. 3. Hard work without direction becomes a trap. This is where many good people lose years of their lives. They work hard in jobs they hate. They work hard on things that do not grow. They work hard in environments that do not reward initiative. They work hard for people who only value availability, not innovation. And after enough time, they start believing the lie that wealth is only for the lucky. But the truth is harsher than that. It is possible to work extremely hard in the wrong direction. And if the direction is wrong, more effort does not save you. It only drains you faster. That is why smart work begins with clarity. Where is this effort going? What is it building? Does this skill become more valuable over time? Does this path increase my options or reduce them? Rich people ask those questions earlier. Poor and average people are often too busy surviving to ask them at all. And that is exactly why the gap keeps growing. 4. Smart work is not laziness. It is intelligent focus. Some people hear work smart and think it means finding shortcuts, doing less, or avoiding effort. That is not smart work. That is avoidance. Real smart work still requires discipline, still requires consistency, still requires sacrifice. But it applies effort where the return is bigger. Instead of doing everything, it does what matters most. Instead of chasing every opportunity, it builds the right one deeply. Instead of saying yes to everything, it protects time, attention, and energy. That is why smart work often looks slower in the beginning. Because while everyone else is trying to do more, the smart person is trying to do better. And over time, that difference becomes massive. Because wealth rarely comes from random effort. It comes from focused effort repeated in the right direction for long enough. 5. Rich people think in systems. Poor people are forced into survival cycles. This is where the real transformation happens. When you live in survival mode, you think about today, this week, this bill, this emergency, this deadline, this pressure. And that mindset keeps you reactive. You do what is urgent, not what is important. You choose relief, not long-term growth. That is why survival mode is so expensive. It steals your future while pretending to protect your present. Wealthy people think differently. They think in systems. How can I automate this? How can I increase the value of my skill? How can I create recurring income? How can I build something once and benefit from it again and again? That is a different game. And once you start thinking like that, you stop living hour to hour and start building piece by piece. 6. Hard work can make you respected. Smart work can make you free. This is a painful truth. Hardworking people are often admired. People call them reliable, disciplined, committed, strong, and those qualities are valuable. But admiration is not the same as freedom. You can be respected and still be exhausted, respected and still underpaid, respected and still financially dependent on a system that controls your time. Smart work aims for something different. Not just praise, not just survival, not just looking responsible. Freedom. Freedom to choose. Freedom to move. Freedom to say no. Freedom to stop panicking every time money gets tight. Freedom to build a life that is not constantly on the edge. That is what wealth really buys first. Not luxury, not status. Space. Breathing room. Control. And people who only chase hard work often never reach that point because they were trained to be useful, not free. 6. Hard work can make you respected. Smart work can make you free. This is a painful truth. Hardworking people are often admired. People call them reliable, disciplined, committed, strong, and those qualities are valuable. But admiration is not the same as freedom. You can be respected and still be exhausted, respected and still underpaid, respected and still financially dependent on a system that controls your time. Smart work aims for something different. Not just praise, not just survival, not just looking responsible. Freedom. Freedom to choose. Freedom to move. Freedom to say no. Freedom to stop panicking every time money gets tight. Freedom to build a life that is not constantly on the edge. That is what wealth really buys first. Not luxury, not status. Space. Breathing room. Control. And people who only chase hard work often never reach that point because they were trained to be useful, not free. So, which one actually makes you rich? Not hard work alone, and not fake smart work that is really just procrastination dressed as strategy. What makes you rich is hard work applied intelligently, effort in the right direction, discipline attached to leverage, consistency attached to value, energy attached to something that can grow beyond your hours. Because the truth is brutal. A lot of people are not poor because they do not work hard. They are poor because all their hard work keeps feeding a system that never pays them back in freedom. And once you see that, you can never unsee it. So Look at your life honestly. What is your effort building right now? A future? A system? An asset? A skill that compounds? A life with more control? Or just another month of exhaustion that looks exactly like the last one? That is the question. And the answer to that question might explain your entire financial life.